Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show. Thank you, everyone that's listening in. It's been a while since I've been on the line, and we've got a lot to talk about today. So I appreciate everyone that's listening in. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. Again, that's 347-996-3175. I love to hear what everyone has to say about the things that's happened this week in D.C., in particular, the fiscal cliff bill that I think most of Americans realize now that we might have all been shafted here. So I would love to hear from you. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this fiscal cliff deal. I think that most Americans now have to realize that we're all being played a little bit by these D.C. politicians and what happened this week. For the world of me, as a young man that's going into, I'm 36 years old, seeing how they addressed this whole fiscal cliff situation, it was a sham. There was nothing that dealt with spending, and I think that is what most of the real conservatives, in particular the fiscal conservatives, had a problem with, is that this whole fiscal cliff bill, all it did was extend the credit cards and make it a lot easier for D.C. to spend. The only people that won in this debate was D.C., the Republicans, not the Republicans, but the politicians in general and the lobbyists. When you look at where some of this money went, including NASCAR, Hollywood, you really have to wonder, are any of these politicians on the side of the people of America? And it was a sad day. I don't envy the job that John Boehner has, because he's in a really rough position. He's got people to deal with on his own side that won't agree with him, and so he's put in a position where he's fighting against the president and still has to come back to his own party and get beat up. But, I mean, the decisions have to be made, the tough decisions. Let me give you some of the devil in the details of some of the pork in that fiscal cliff bill. $222 million for rum producers, $59 million for algae growers, $248 million for Hollywood, another $78 million for NASCAR, and $7 million for electric motorcycle makers. Now, this is what I'm saying. When I look at these kind of numbers and I see the kind of money that went to these kind of groups and organizations, where I can't help but feel that neither side is looking out for the little guy in this debate here, because when you start really looking at the fiscal cliff, all this did was put a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. They're still going to be arguing in the next month or two about the debt ceiling that President Obama, when he was a senator, he was against it. He said that anyone that needed to raise the debt ceiling showed that they had a lack of leadership, showed that they didn't, that maybe they weren't comparable for that position. And I think it's very interesting now to watch President Obama very hypocritically go through doing exact same things that he said he wouldn't do, that he criticized President Bush for. He's doing all the exact same things. So, another example of when I say President Obama goes against exactly what he says he's going to do. He denounced signing statements when he was under Bush, and now he uses them as the president. And he, just like when he's raising this tax debt ceiling and saying that it was a show of bad leadership, now he turns around and does it. So, again, I think that these are things we got to look at when we're looking at our leadership. Both sides have let us down. As the people of America, we've been let down by all of our elected leaders. The fact that it comes down to the very last day to even discuss what they want to do as far as, when it came down to this fiscal cliff situation, it's embarrassing. I equate it to knowing that you have homework or schoolwork and knowing that this thing is going, it's due, and yet and still you wait to the very last minute to do it, and then look at, they got that bill, the Senate got that bill at 136, and it was up for signature at 139. How can anybody read a bill in 3 minutes, folks? And I guess, again, it wasn't just Nancy Pelosi that obviously lives by the code of we'll just have to pass this bill and then read it, because that, to me, that's the only way that could be possible. So give me a call. I want to hear from the people out there, 347-996-3175. Thanks, Zell's Child, for joining us in the chat room. The chat room is open as well. I've got a call here already. Let me take this call. Caller, you're on
Hi
the
there.
air.
How are you?
All right, how are you doing?
Good. This is Leland Preble. I'm calling from Spring Arbor, Michigan, over by Jackson.
Oh, thank you. I love Jackson. How you doing?
Good. I'm on your Facebook, and I caught your number here, and I thought I'd give you a call.
All right. Well, the first thing that I was talking about was kind of doing a recap of what happened this week. What do you think about this fiscal cliff deal? Was it good for America? Was it bad for America? Who let us down the most in this situation?
Well, I'm conservative, so I think that Obama did. I think that I'm kind of bothered also by Christie's attitude towards Boehner. It bothered me that he blames the Republicans and Boehner. That I thought that Boehner was trying to be responsible and holding off the vote because of all the pork that was put in it.
Okay.
And instead of Christie getting after the people that put the pork in it, he gets after Boehner for not voting it through. I thought he was being very irresponsible for it.
Do you think that he's angling? Because at this point now, he's done about 2 or 3 things that kind of sets off an alarm to me that he's definitely got his eye towards 2016. Do you think that it shows? Do you think it shows independence or leadership that he's standing up to Boehner, or is it just a selfish grab for trying to be a 2016 headliner?
Well, I think that he's lost my confidence in any type of presidential candidate, as far as I'm concerned. I think that he may be trying to run for governor over there in New Jersey, and maybe trying to win points for the people in New Jersey. But as far as any Republican candidate for president, I think he's lost my confidence in him.
Okay. And we're also kind of talking a little bit about the fact that this fiscal cliff bill. Now, this is where I ask conservatives. I've seen a lot of conservatives, fiscal conservatives in particular, that were disappointed in this bill. This fiscal cliff bill did not address debt, long-term spending and debt in any kind of fashion. Were you disappointed in that?
Absolutely. We can't continue to spend on credit card. We can't live on our credit card, and someday it's going to have to be paid off, and the bill is going to come due, and we just don't seem to. We've taught our generations. It started back in World War II that we've constantly said, well, I want my children to have it better than I had. I want my children to have it better than I had. And we've developed that generations of entitlement. Each generation wanted their children to have it better than they did, and we've developed that entitlement concept, and it's only going to get worse. And I think that it's taken a long time to get here, and it's going to be difficult to correct that.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I appreciate you for calling in, because I think that's the biggest issue, that a lot of the politicians are kind of just kicking the can down the road. Like I said, I'm 36 years old, and I've already been starting to be very concerned about the future of my children and even my grandchildren if we don't start really addressing the spending and the debt issue. I don't want my kids and my grandkids to have to work and give up 60 to 70% of their income to pay the debts that me and really essentially my parents' generation has created.
I'm concerned. I'm concerned that here within a year or so, that the economy is going to get so bad that people are going to start getting up in arms. And I would be surprised if Obama decides to declare martial law, and I'm concerned about that.
Yes, I'm concerned about the overall direction of how the country is going, and that kind of thing does have the potential for happening. Thank you for everybody that's also on
You're
the.
welcome.
Thank you for calling in today. Thank you for your insight, and I hope you continue to listen to the show. And feel free to join the chat room. We have a couple people in there as well. So thank you for calling in today.
All right, bye.
Bye. So and that's just something everybody's talking about a lot, and we're gonna have to watch that as time goes on. When we have the kind of civil unrest that they have in Greece and places like that. Thank you, Zell's Child, Stephen Haynes, and Guest 2032 for joining us in the chat room. How do you feel about that fiscal cliff deal? Are we doing anything? Do any of our leaders care enough to address spending and the fiscal, and the long-term debt. I see a couple people that were willing to, and it doesn't surprise me. Justin Amash here from Michigan, and Rand Paul both. Marco Rubio, two Senate members who voted it down, and Justin Amash in Congress, who actually was put in a position. They kicked him off the budget committee because he was too conservative, and I think that's something that I'm definitely going to bring Justin on the show to talk about that, because I think that's something that as conservatives and Republicans, and we kind of try to difference ourselves from liberals, in particular when we're talking about spending and the long-term debt and the way we do things. I think it's important that we talk to someone like Justin Amash, who tried to set the tone and was actually kicked out of his committee because he's too conservative, or too fiscally conservative on these issues. And I think that's a telling sign of really where our D.C. politicians are when it comes to spending down his debt. Zales Child, I agree with you. I don't think that most of America takes to spend, our national debt and deficit and debt seriously, because a lot of us are living that way. But the difference is we can't call our credit card companies and ask them to raise our credit limits. And hey, John, thanks for joining the show as well. We can't expect. I can't call Visa tomorrow and say, hey, will you raise my debt limit on my credit card? I've maxed it out, but the only way that I'm going to be able to grow and stimulate the economy is if you raise my credit card limit. And I just don't see how people don't look at it that way and quite simply make the adjustments. We're not like someone that's living check to check. We're not. The United States government is not the working poor. They have the revenue. It's just that we don't want to spend it in a responsible way. We want to still act like things haven't changed, and we have to start looking at proactively what we can do to change things differently. No, China will not give us an unlimited amount of money, and at some point they're going to say no, and at some point they're going to say they might want us to pay up, start paying some of that debt. We're a slow pay. If you're a credit card company, you don't like the slow pay guys. You don't like the guys that pay the minimum and keep running up the debt. So, I mean, we have got to improve on that. And, I made a couple of jokes during the week that if this continues, we're going to have to start learning Chinese at some point. Our kids might have to start learning Chinese. It could become the national language. We owe them big time, and I want to see a responsible government where people are actually making some of these tough decisions. So I hope to have Justin Amash on here in the next week or so, because I want to talk to him about it, because I think we need to hear from someone from D.C. to hear how serious our elected officials are at really chipping away at this debt, because right now I just don't see it. So give me a call, 347-996-3175. I'd love to hear from you today. 347-996-3175 is the call in. And so, let's talk a little bit about John Boehner, because a lot of people have been really rough on him, and I could see where people are frustrated with John Boehner, but people need to recognize that John Boehner was in a rough situation from go. He's working to try to, because the bottom line is Obama played chess with these guys, and he was leading from the beginning. If this fiscal cliff deal had not gone through, it would have been blamed on Republicans. It would have been blamed on John Boehner. And so he did whatever, and he recognizes the political capital that would have been lost if we did not win or if we did not close that deal. So he did everything he could do to make that deal, to make the deal work, and he's kind of being painted as a villain amongst conservatives. I don't think I'd want that job right now because he's in a very tough position. What do you think, folks? What do you think about the job that John Boehner's done? I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are saying he let people down. What do you think he could have done differently? And it could have been done, because realistically, this is my issue. They knew that this deal was going to come to an end at the end of the year. They should have been working on it. Obviously, with the election, it made it a lot more difficult. But I really, I have a problem with the idea that we wait to the last minute, to get a deal done of that importance, and then turn around and blame the guys who we knew that had to get the deal done. I just don't see how that works out. But this is why politics is such a blood sport nowadays, because John Boehner was put in a rough situation. Like I said, if he did not get that deal done, the narrative would have been he didn't do what he needed to do to get the deal done. Blame the Republicans. They don't care about anybody. And so he was put in a rough situation. Now what's going to happen is we're going to have to turn around and vote again on the debt ceiling. And again, President Obama, even before that even started, he basically called them out and said he dared them to do something about it. He knows they're going to have to raise the debt ceiling at some point. And listening to some of these Republican leaders, I think they know very well that they're going to have to raise the debt ceiling, but what are they going to do to address spending? So let's see what happens. I want to hear from you, the folks out there. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. What do you think about this fiscal cliff deal? If you get a chance, I want you to check out the website, conservativeiscool.com. It's got all the information on what's going on. We have a lot of rants and different fun stuff going on the website. We're going to be doing some more updating on that very soon. If you also notice on the website now, we do have a support the Wayne Bradley Show section where you can actually help us. We're going to be doing AM radio soon here in Detroit, and we need all the help we can from all our conservative listeners out there, whether it's $5 a month or one-time donation, to consider helping us out, because it's not easy getting a conservative radio show in Detroit. I can tell you for a fact that I had some actual business sponsors that had committed to the show that changed their mind after right to work was passed in Michigan. They said that they didn't want to connect themselves to a visible conservative like myself, where they thought there was a line too much for some of these type of things. So, I mean, it's very hard doing a conservative radio show in Detroit. So I need my listeners and supporters to, if they can help me out, give me a call here, 347-996-3175. I'm in the chat room. They want to tax our income directly. As with everything, they are postponing the inevitable. Yep, I agree. A lot of these politicians are postponing the inevitable. They're not making the tough decisions that they need to do. So give me a call. I want to hear from you. 347-996-3175. It's been a while since I've been on the air, and I want to thank everybody that's listening in today. We're gonna really start ramping up over the next couple of weeks, because, like I said, we're gonna be moving into an AM format, and I just want to keep I want all my listeners to be able to enjoy both, not only on the AM show that'll be streaming, but also continuing to keep it going here on internet radio, because I believe this is an effective medium that reaches a lot of people. We are over 23,000 people now on Twitter. So, again, thank you, everyone that's listening in. We're going to go to the next. I want to talk about gun rights right now, and I'm hoping maybe that I can get my guy Rick Ector to call in on this. There again, after the Newtown tragedy, which I think that, again, there's no way you can predict when crazy people are going to do things. It was a terrible tragedy, something that was awful, that no one wants to see happen. So I don't see why that, like I said, I understand people wanting to do something about it. The president looked to be overcome with some kind of emotion about the situation, because he's a parent too, and I can understand that. But the overreach and the overreacting on gun control is just gone way over the top. And I think that, again, I hate to say it, that the Democrats are using these kinds of tragedies to push an agenda that only their selected group of people want to have. All this, this talk of gun control. I just don't understand why, like I said, the same people that are fighting for gun control, the same people that are protected by guns, whether it be celebrities or the president, this is the kind of hypocrisy that drives people like myself crazy, listening to Democrats. Hey, John, the Dems are going to blame the Republicans no matter what. They would demonize Mother Teresa if she had an R after her name. The deal was not a deal because there were no spending cuts. I agree with you, John. The deal was not a deal. It was something that was forced upon us, and I think, like I said, being in Boehner's position, I don't envy it. It was a rough situation to be in, but yeah, you're right. It was not a deal because no spending cuts were involved. You can't have something that's going to pull us off of the fiscal cliff that's not dealing with spending cuts. So I agree, it wasn't a deal. Like I said, it was a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. If that's what, and we know how effective that probably is. It's a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. So give me a call. Let's hear from you, 347-996-3175. Thanks a lot, John, for that commentary. Thanks for all the help and support you're doing with the radio show. I really appreciate it. Give us a call here, 347-996-3175. Hey, John, what do you think about your fellow Massachusetts guys? We got a call coming in right now, and this is from the 248. That's my local area, so let's get a call. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Wayne, it's Ant.
Ant, my friend, what's going on, brother? How you doing this morning?
Yeah, I just saw the post, so I'll just call and see what you're talking about.
All right, well, I appreciate you calling in. We were talking a little bit about the fiscal cliff deal, and we're kind of segueing into gun rights again. I know where you stand on that, but I want to know where you stand on this fiscal cliff deal. Do you think this was good for America long term? What's your stand? And this is from a Democrat's perspective, so this is very good. What do you think about that fiscal cliff deal?
Well, when has it ever been a problem? Was it a problem in the Bush administration? Was it a problem in the Clinton administration? Previous Bush and Reagan? Like, has there ever been this much turmoil about, the fiscal cliff? How many people even really heard about it, even knew about it until, Obama got in office?
Well, this is the question is, though, do you think that this fiscal cliff deal, one that doesn't include anything that deals with spending, the long-term debt, or anything like that, do you think this was a good deal for the country? When you look at some of the pork that was spent in this project, including almost $78 million to NASCAR, another $250 million to Hollywood for them to invest in studios and things of that nature, do you think this fiscal cliff deal was good for the American people?
But wasn't those provisions taken out to get this passed?
No.
It was part of it, but then it was taken out, right?
No, I think the pork that you're thinking about that was being taken out was probably the pork that was put through on this Sandy relief. Now, they are actually working on that. Yeah,
Wait a minute. The Sandy relief was the NASCAR stuff, right?
No.
From what I remember.
No, it was in the fiscal cliff deal. This was actually in the fiscal cliff deal, the pork that was in that. And that's why people were so frustrated, because not only did it not deal with any of the problems, because, again, Senate only had 3 minutes to read this fiscal cliff deal before it was pushed through. They submitted it at 1:36, and at 1:39 it was signed off on. And I'm going to go.
But they had plenty of time to talk about it, to think about it, and everything.
I agree, but I think that
don't blame it. Oh, now it's the pork that's the problem. The problem is that we got some dysfunctional people in Congress, and that's supposed to be our leaders handling our business, but they don't do it because, so much divide. Just look at the GOP period. It's like a civil war, and now you have a civil war, then you got the Democrats. Now, how's anything going to get done?
Well, I agree that
you can't blame it on they only had 3 minutes to read something when they had plenty of time. They knew it was coming. How long has it been in the news?
I agree with you on that standpoint. That I think that it's despicable that all of D.C. waited to the very last hour to get a deal done. But I'm asking you, do you think that this deal is good for the American people?
No, of course, anything that all the pork is not good, but doesn't mean it's set in stone. You can get rid of it. You know what I mean? They can renegotiate and talk like they're supposed to do, and all that stuff wouldn't even been in there. So, why are we blaming the last minute? Everything that's going on at the last minute, and when they had plenty of time to get something very clean and solve the problem. I'm pretty sure if that stuff was in there in the beginning, they would have got it out and got something real clean that was good for America.
How come?
So who are we blaming here?
Anthony, how come the president didn't set the standard to get something done that was good for all of America? Besides the Congress, how come the president himself, the actual leader, the appointed leader, the guy that's in control?
What is Congress' role, Wayne? What is Congress' role? What are they supposed to do?
They're supposed to put together bills. And
okay,
again,
so why are you blaming the president?
Because the president, at the end of the day, is pushing these bills to get done. He's going to tell you off the top.
Pushing the pork? Are you really blaming the president for pushing the pork?
He is going to tell you off the top if you will veto a bill, and they know that they have to put something together that the president is going to find palatable. Because if it's not, he'll.
So your understanding that the president is approving of all the so-called pork that was in these bills, right?
Oh, I definitely think he's on the side of
Really.
I mean, look at a lot of women.
Okay, let's think about NASCAR. Let's think about the NASCAR thing. How many people you think that supports NASCAR are Republicans versus Democrats?
That's not I'm talking about at the top, and I'm not talking about the fans and all that. That to me, NASCAR is like hockey and everything else. They're moving to every regional area. We have race car tracks here in Michigan. The idea is that there are only Southern white Republicans are NASCAR fans is.
No, I'm not saying that, but more NASCAR fans support the GOP versus Democrats. You know that.
I'm not sure of that anymore. I can't say.
If you're a betting man, you had to bet your life savings on that. Just had to. What would you bet it on?
If I had to, that might be different. But what I'm saying is, you can't assume that just because NASCAR got $78 million or whatever, that's somehow. Again, I look at it both sides.
You don't think that's like any members of the GOP pockets or campaigns?
Oh, no.
Nothing. It's all going strictly to Democrats.
I believe in the power of lobbying, that gets into both sides' pockets. And when you look at these, like I said, when you look at the overall fiscal cliff deal, the only people that really won in this deal were everybody in D.C. Everybody in D.C. got what they wanted. They got more credit. They got more spending, more money getting floated around to people that didn't, who
but you're more. Okay, I agree with you, but at the same time, you just spending so much time blaming the president instead of blaming the system and how things work in Washington, D.C. This has been going on for years and years.
See, I thought I thought you guys voted on change. I thought this was going to change. I thought this is the hope.
No, how you can?
This
is. Okay, that's a scapegoat. You didn't answer my question.
I asked
what is the job of
Congress
to produce these bills for the president to sign them, right?
As a Democrat, you weren't even happy with this fiscal cliff deal, and that's really the question. I don't want to go back and forth because I know that me and you both. I agree with you that it's bad on both sides in this, but I just want to know from the American people, were they satisfied?
Okay, if you blame the president like you want to, how's that going to help anything?
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to.
Because that's what you want. You want everyone to blame the president. It's his fault. He's not changing America. How can you change when the people in your GOP is not even working together with each other? So what are you changing coming from?
And I asked, all the question was, and I got another caller here from the 313, so I'm getting a lot of my people's calling in here. Were they happy with the fiscal cliff deal? And you said no. So, and that's all I want. That's all I wanted to know for right now, and that's fine because you're not happy with it. Republicans aren't happy with it, so that kind of, again, I'm speaking on the tone of what Americans, the people, me, you, we're the people. Are we satisfied with this fiscal cliff deal? And you weren't.
Okay.
So,
if the fiscal deal wasn't done, what would have happened? Everybody's taxes go up on everybody, right?
And I understand that's why they passed.
What's going to be worse? This what we just did, or the alternative?
I agree that was
going to be worse for America.
That position to be put in. But I'm just trying to get the temperature of the American people, and I've got two people so far, a Democrat and a Republican, that are not satisfied with this fiscal cliff deal. So thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. I'm not trying, like I said, I don't want to blame it all on one person because I think all of D.C. deserves some blame on this. But I appreciate you calling in. We're going to talk a little bit more about gun rights in a minute. So if you want to call back in, you stay on. All right, I appreciate that, man. I'm going to bring you back on. Got another call here from 313. Hold on. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Wayne, Rick Ector. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, yeah, Rick Ector. Thank you for calling in, my friend. I really appreciate you calling in because we kind of were talking about the fiscal cliff deal, but now I've got my gun rights guy on the phone. We're going to have a little more fun with that. Just so I can get your temperature also on this fiscal cliff deal, what did you think in terms of, are you satisfied with this deal as an American citizen, not Republican, Democrat, or whatever? Do you think this was a good deal for America?
I really am disappointed, for the simple fact that I don't have all the specific numbers, man, but it doesn't seem to me like it does anything with respect to debt. I mean, with, the numbers that I did hear, we're talking about, if they didn't do anything on the deal, they're going to raise taxes on everybody. It's like a what they call it, brinksmanship. Take everybody to the brink. I don't really think it was necessarily a good deal because we're still not addressing debt, and we're still going to be in the worst way financially. I mean, we're not even talking about our children addressing this debt. We're talking about our grandkids and maybe even our great-grandkids, man.
Right. Well, that's.
I don't necessarily have a solution, man, but you know what? We got to do something about this debt, man. It's unreal. It's crazy.
Definitely, and I think that's the bigger issue now. Is we got to start talking about the long-term debt and how this is going to affect our kids and our grandkids. So I appreciate it. Now let's get into your cup of tea, Rick, because this is it's been a lot going on. I haven't been on the show since the Newtown tragedy. And I'm just like you. My wall on Facebook, Twitter was bombarded with people saying that is this now can we finally have some gun rights? Gun control laws that'll be effective because guys like you and myself, we're promoting guns. That's essentially we're the villains here. What did you think about the Newtown tragedy? What do you think that we can do moving forward? And what could have been done to essentially prevent this kind of tragedy, or at least make it smaller on scale? You go ahead, Rick.
Well, I mean, I think that there is no one in the country that takes any joy and delight at the tragedy that happened at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. I mean, it was truly a tragic event. You know, you have an individual who was obviously mentally deranged. He killed his mother, shot her in the head, I believe was how he killed her. Stole a gun, stole a car, took the guns to a pistol-free zone, and then slaughtered, 20-something people, including quite a few children. You know, the root cause of the issue is not, an inanimate object, a firearm. The root cause issue are these mentally deranged people who commit these heinous acts. And you know what? A lot of people, they like to say, well, hey, we need more laws, we need more laws, we need more laws. There's an estimated 20,000 gun laws that are currently on the books. And you know what? They're trying to get another 20,000, and it's not going to change the behavior of violent criminals, predators, and the mentally deranged. You know, the thing that I try to press upon people is that the real issue, if you really think about it, it's evil. You need to be able to remove the evil from the hearts of minds and men. And you know what? I don't think that will ever happen. I think what we have to do is be able to address evil when it rears its ugly head and put it down. With regards to what it is we need to do, I mean, obviously we got a mental health issue. We need to have that conversation. When all of these mass shootings, when they occur, that's what we have in common. But no one seems to want to address that. They think that this so-called assault weapons ban is the solution, but no one seems to recall that we had an assault weapons ban in effect when we had Columbine.
Right.
You know, we have the Colorado shooting. You know, the guy who dressed himself up like a costume character, the Joker. We had a sitting member of Congress, Giffords, who was shot in the head in Tucson, Arizona. I mean, incident after incident after incident. And we even had, going back further to Clinton, we even had McVeigh. He didn't even use a gun. He used fertilizer and diesel fuel. Killed more children in that event, during the Clinton administration. The key, I think, is that we need to take a long, hard look at mental health, and we need to take a look at protecting our children in these vulnerable areas, these so-called pistol-free zones. As a matter of fact, we should abolish them altogether.
Okay.
And closer to home here in Michigan, we had an opportunity to at least take a few steps towards that. Currently in Michigan, it's legal for people who have concealed pistol licenses to open carry in places like schools. However, we had a bill, Senate Bill 59, that passed the State House. It passed the State Senate. And what this would have done, it would have forbidden open carry in these gun-free zones for CPL holders. But, however, if we took it upon ourselves to get additional training, additional time on the range, we could then conceal carry. We would then at least have an opportunity to have more people in these areas where these psychotic killers who wish to rack up huge body counts can do so with impunity. And in most cases, I think it's hard to find more than a few in which they did not take their own lives, but they gave up when the first sign of resistance was there. Why not allow administrators and teachers and school staff who have met all the requirements, passed all the background checks, took all the training. Why not have those individuals in our schools to protect our children? Why not?
And that was my, I got almost what I would say my head taken off for suggesting that almost that exact same day, was saying, well, maybe if a teacher or a principal or even a janitor up in that school would have been able to protect themselves and protect others, this tragedy would have been a lot smaller. Because this guy.
Well, here's the thing. There's a certain segment of our population that, for whatever reason, they just cannot envision themselves as standing up to a bully, to a bad guy, to a deranged individual, a psychotic killer. They seem to want to project their feelings of inadequacies on the rest of us. There are quite a few people out here who are willing to defend themselves as opposed to just being a victim and giving up their life without a fight. And you know what? I'm not calling them bad. I'm not calling them cowards. You know what? That's just the way you are. And you know what? In a perfect world, everyone wouldn't harm everyone else, if only by accident. But we have to realize that true evil does exist in this society. And like Edmund Burke said, I believe it was, all that it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing.
Now, you know what, Rick? I've got a guy on the line that's been on hold for a minute, and he's not what I would consider a gun guy. I'm gonna bring him on the line again and let him ask a couple questions, and let's see if we can get some clarity here, because some of the non-gun guys they have some what they consider valid concerns. So let's bring him back on. Anthony, I'm gonna bring you back on the show here.
All right.
Anthony, you back on the show?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Now I don't know if you were listening in on the conversation.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, I know that you called me and called a couple other people kind of crazy about the gun stuff before, so I want you to come kind of bring in your side of the issue. Where do you stand on gun rights, and what do we need to do here? I kind of look at you as a guy that would be probably for some of this gun control stuff, so where do you stand on gun control and gun rights?
Well, to be honest with you, I agree about pretty much 99% of everything you just said. The only thing I don't agree about is okay, you guys seem to think that this is like a John Wayne movie or a movie or with Bruce Willis where you're an armored teacher and all of a sudden this teacher is going to shoot the bad guy between the eyes and save the day. What happens if this teacher, who's armed, gets shot and can't kill the guy? So then what?
I'll let.
Am I still on?
Yeah, Rick, you're still on. I'm gonna let you handle that question right now.
Well, here's the thing.
Then what?
We don't have
it's not a movie.
I understand that, and every day, I'm not going to say every day, but you know what? Here locally, we have a situation and environment in which we have people cut down in the city of Detroit based on our resources, our lack of public safety officials to at least uphold the law. There's no investigative function whatsoever. If you look at the stats they just released a couple of days ago, 411 homicides. 25
I appreciate
of those,
all that, but you're not answering the question.
25 of those were justified. That represents a case closure percentage of 36.5%. There is no investigative function whatsoever. Here's the thing about self-defense. You don't need to be a SWAT commando, Wyatt Earp, Wild Wild West guy to defend yourself. What you need is education and training. And if you're willing to do that, I guarantee you that you can defend yourself. There are no guarantees. There are.
Okay, but you guys,
there is a chance that if a bad guy comes in, the bad guy might win. But you know what? I will take that chance versus no chance any day.
That's what I was about to say. I think your chances of defending yourself are exponentially higher being able to protect yourself.
Okay, what he said just made sense. But you guys, before when we were on your Facebook page, you was like, that's the only solution. That's it's going to solve the problem, and that's it. You don't think about other consequences. But what I'm saying is this. If you guys said, let's hire, former military servicemen to protect our schools, I think that's a great idea. But here's the problem. You guys always complain about how big we're making government big, but you know what? Somebody has to pay for that, and I think we should pay for that. I think we should pay for that. Number one, it gives the military a job after they get back, and also it protects the schools. So I'm cool with
here's
that.
the thing. Do we agree that our children are worth protecting from these psychotic killers?
Yes.
Do we agree on that? Okay,
Yes.
so let's not get bogged down and just reject the whole argument because we don't know how we're going to do it. If we are committed to protecting our children, we'll figure out a way to do it. And we got a lot of resources in which to make that happen. We got people who, if they meet the qualifications and they got the training and they have the desire, we got people who probably be willing to volunteer and do it. And there's nothing wrong with teachers doing it. There's nothing wrong with administrators doing it. In most of these cases, these individuals go to these gun-free zones because it's a target-rich environment. We like to think that, okay, you guys are constantly, I don't want to be, really sweeping in general when I say you guys, but there is a percentage of our population that will say, you know what, guns is not the solution. Here's the thing. The problem, if you really look at it, the problem is evil. And you know what? Guns is not the solution to stopping evil in this society. What guns are a defense when evil raises its head. Now, if we want to have a great panel discussion about the factors in our societal environment that create psychos and mental health cases, fine, let's do that. We're not saying that guns is going to prevent crazy people from existing. No. What guns do, they protect individuals when these people show up. And, yes, we still have to address what societal factors are creating these psychos.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think, Anthony, that's the one thing that I try to do here is to try to show how much people, we agree on things. We just don't necessarily agree on how to get there. I mean, we know protecting our kids are important. And I just think that the dialogue needs to be open as opposed to just saying no more, get rid of guns, guns are the problem.
No one. I never said get rid of guns.
Not you. I didn't say that. I'm not talking about you specifically. I think that's just the narrative in general is either we're going to have it one way or the other, and I think that we're not looking at enough of the solutions that we can.
The problem is, like I said, when in the beginning I said I agree with 99% of what he said. Yes, there are evil people in this world. And honestly, there's no preventing that. If people want to do evil, they want to do evil, period. As far as the gun-free zone thing, I don't really understand why. I mean, usually that's around schools, so, I'm not sure why are you saying get rid of the gun-free zone signs and that's everything's going to be all right?
I'll tell you why. If we just look at these psychos that commit these mass killings, there's a reason why they go to gun-free zones. They go to gun-free zones because they can rack up a huge body count. Here's the great fallacy of laws in general and gun-free zones. People think that they can create a law and put up a sign and say no guns, and they think that no guns will be in that facility.
I mean, I don't think anybody realistically thinks that's
Here's the hardest thing that people can't wrap their mind around these gun-free zones and gun laws. Criminals and crazy people do not obey the law.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I think all that is it just something to keep people's minds at peace. Like, this is a gun-free zone. This is what we're trying to do in effort to stop violence.
Are we talking about a solution, or are we talking about a feel-good sign on the wall of a building?
Right.
Right.
That's an open invitation. That's an open invitation to crime when you tell this is a gun-free zone. That's like saying, hey, this is the best place you can come right now to do some evil, some damage.
Well, how often do people really honestly shoots up school just because it says gun-free zone? You're saying it's like a reoccurring thing.
Think about it.
Right.
Colorado, the movie theater. This guy drove 4 miles past 5 or 6 other movie theaters to get to the only one that was a corporate, privately owned, established gun-free zone.
We know that for a fact. Why did he pass
all of those other movie theaters to go to just that one? Because he knew he would be unopposed and could rack up a huge body count. And as soon as guns held by good guys showed up, he gave up immediately.
Yep, same thing happened in Newtown. The guy, as soon as he heard the police coming, he shot himself, which means to me he was a coward. And if someone else in there would have had a gun or something, to protect themselves, he might have done it a lot quicker. I mean, these guys.
Same thing at Virginia Tech. He gave up.
Yeah,
he killed himself. So I mean, the fact
I think that's their goal. Wait a minute. That's their goal. Their goal is to kill themselves. They're not trying to get arrested.
Yes. And you know what?
So regardless of where they're at, they're going to kill themselves just because that's what they intended to do in the first place. So you can't blame it on.
So let's have an environment in which they can't rack up a huge body count. Let's get rid of these gun-free zones. Let's establish people in the schools to protect our children.
Here's the problem with hold on. This is the problem when you do that. You arm other crazy people. You know, everybody's looking for something. Think about
How's that?
We're talking about law-abiding citizens who've taken all the training.
Listen.
Oh, everybody's crazy now, right?
Yes, it's a lot of crazy people
especially
in this world.
those people that have
What
guns.
I'm saying, you're not letting me speak. Okay, listen. Now, if you think about it, think about the guy that killed the guy who was playing in Florida for his musicals being too loud. You know, I'm sure he was trained.
Okay, that was.
He was a licensed.
If the facts are as they put it, if the facts are as they put it, then he should be punished and go to prison.
What I'm saying is, you're saying arm everybody, but what I'm saying is, you still putting.
Did I say arm everybody?
The possibility.
Yeah, you know what? The fact is this: we live in a free society, and you know what? Even though everyone in this society has not committed a criminal act, there's nothing to prevent someone from doing that. But here's the thing. You cannot treat the entire population of the United States as criminals. You do that, there's no concept of this place being a free society. We have a free society. And yes, people are free to do evil just as well as they are free to do good. For the individuals who have demonstrated that they can be law-abiding and be responsible and get the training and to get licensed, I would rather put my trust in those guys to protect us rather than saying, okay, you know what, we're going to depend on the police that we are not funding and can't get
shoot somebody. That's the problem. You got people who went through everything, like you just said, the training, and think they're dedicated to helping America and protecting their community, who are overzealous and just looking for, it has a itchy trigger finger just to shoot someone. You know what? Society. You have people like that.
You're extrapolating. Extrapolating one or two cases and applying it across the whole population.
One or two cases,
and turning it into the majority.
The same thing you're doing with the gun-free zone stuff. You're doing the same thing. So what I'm saying is like it's no 100% solution. You're gonna have some good people. You're gonna have some bad people. With any law you pass or any thing we come up with to protect ourselves, you're going to have some, like I said, you're going to have those overzealous people who went through all the proper training and have the so-called right goal in mind.
And how many people do you surmise
who's going to have an itchy trigger finger and is going to shoot people just because they can. God. That's why you have that right to stand your ground, bullcrap.
Most responsible gun owners are not going to put themselves in that position.
Here's the part. Thing.
Every gun owner is just a polite citizen who's going to do the right thing at all times.
No. From what you're talking about, you're saying that people like me, whether I'm a responsible gun owner, a concealed pistol license owner, who's jumped through all the hoops, taken all the training, and you know what, is even a firearms instructor, but you know what, I might have an itchy finger and I might go shoot up someplace. I mean, you know what, you might as well just take the next step. You might as well just take the next step and say, you know what, ban guns. That's where you're at.
No, I'm not saying that because that's stupid.
Because
I would never say ban guns.
You're basically
I would never say ban guns.
What I'm saying is,
no, you're not listening because you're so trying to be so defensive. Like I got to have my pistol on my hip. What I'm saying is this: like it's you don't think it's in a possibility that people just like you can have an itchy trigger finger and just looking for a reason to shoot someone just because they have the law behind them?
I wouldn't base a law or anything like that off of one, because it might be one person out here that has an itchy trigger finger.
That's exactly
more than
my
one person with a itchy trigger finger. It's like just the same thing. You can't make a law based on all just crazy
and it goes back.
Well, that's the point.
And it goes back to what I was
talking
talking about earlier about projecting your own feelings about yourself onto everyone else in society.
Yeah, I want to protect you, Anthony. Even though you might not want that gun, or you might not want someone. I believe.
I believe in protecting people. Look, everybody should have the right to bear arms. You should be able to protect your family. You should,
That's
that's
it right there.
You're gonna throw a button there, right?
I agree with you guys thinking I'm like just anti-gun,
If your child was
I'm not.
If your child was in that school, would you want someone there when he showed up with a gun, or would you rather wait 10 minutes that it took the police to get there?
No, what I'm saying is this. I agree.
Answer the question.
Listen to what I said earlier. I said yes. It would be great if we had somebody like a military person in the school.
It doesn't have to be a military person.
A teacher? What if it was a teacher or the janitor? What if the teacher or the janitor?
That's fine, but I don't think it's a responsibility for teachers to try to I just don't think it's right to force them. What if they don't want to? What if the teacher doesn't want to carry a gun?
Okay, well they don't have to. They don't have to. It'll be another teacher that can do it.
Okay, from my understanding, you guys will say all the teachers must be armed. Principals,
everybody
has to be armed.
No one said
they should have
the option. They should have the option. Not must be, but they should have the option of being able to defend themselves in school. Anthony, that's what the option is.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I agree with that. But still, you have to think about all the responsibilities that comes with that. Okay.
And you know what? And if we give those teachers the responsibility for educating and safeguarding our children, I don't see a problem with having them protect those kids either. They have them all day.
Yeah. And that's what they do. I don't subscribe to the fact that these people, like I said, teachers and things like that, are just going to start shooting up kids and everything else. They're going to.
No, I mean it's pros and cons and everything, and it is a possibility.
You never did answer that one question that Rick asked you, and this is the question. Like I said, I've asked a couple other people who have kids and things of that nature. If you had kids and they were at that school, would you not want?
Of course, you want your kids protected. That's just stupid for anybody to say no.
Okay, well, thank you for answering that question.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, all right. Well,
I mean, come on, guys.
Come on,
let's not be stupid.
No,
let's not be stupid. You know, I'm not an anti-gun person like that, but I'm saying we have to
debated somebody on TV just locally a couple of weeks ago, and they said no, they disagree.
Yeah, they didn't want him in the churches because if he read something in the sermon he didn't like, he might catch the. What was he say? He might catch the Holy Ghost. Rick
well, that was the one guy. Who was that? That was Steve Hood on Let It Rip that said somebody might get the Holy Ghost and start shooting. And then Reverend Wendell Anthony, Detroit NAACP, said if he gave a bad sermon, he's worried about one of his parishioners firing on the pulpit.
Okay.
You know, some of the things that people say when cameras are rolling are amazing.
That not everybody is sane, and not everybody
is crazy.
And not everybody's crazy either, right?
That's
do you think we have more sane people or more insane people in this country?
Okay, we're gonna have like 30 sane people with guns, then we got 20 insane people, then we're just gonna have an old-fashioned shootout, right?
You know what?
I'd rather have.
We're going to sit back. We're going to sit back and wait 10 minutes for the police to get there, and wait for the crazy people to kill all the good people. That's what you're going to do.
I think I would feel better with 20. If there's 20 crazy guys in the room and 20 armed, not crazy guys in the room, I feel a lot better than there's no armed guys in the room and waiting for the police.
No. Wait. The better solution is for the good people not to be armed
because they're. All right, people
the better solution is for the good people not to be armed and wait for the police to get there and have all the good guys laying on the ground dead. That's the status quo, and that's the preferred solution.
Body cleanup. That's what the police are good for at that point. You know, it takes a minute for them to do that kind of destruction, and like I said, wait.
Okay, well, here's my thing. So, we get the teachers to training. Who's going to pay for it, right? We're going to pay for it, right?
The teachers might want to pay for it out of their own pocket.
That's their individual responsibility.
Why does the teacher have to pay for it?
If they want to.
Because they want to.
If they want to.
You know what? You're throwing up.
Come on now. Why does the teacher have to, why would the teacher?
Are you a teacher? Are you a teacher?
Why shouldn't we pay for it if we want our kids protected?
If they don't want to, they don't have to.
Yeah, that's just the bottom line.
Okay, say we gave.
You're sitting up here telling us you agree on the what? Arming someone in the schools, but now you're getting bogged down in the how. I mean, either you with it or you're not.
You know why? Because all the GOP want to scream about big government, hate unions, hate teachers, hate police officers, hate firefighters. fired.
Come on,
They
man,
don't want to pay for
rhetoric.
anything. They've been laid off. I mean, come on now. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Wayne, it's obvious.
Who's going to pay for it?
We're not going
I want to pay for it.
We're just going to have to agree to disagree on a lot of points that were made today. But what I will say, though, I am thankful for the opportunity to come on and share.
Everything we just talked about, we agree on. The majority of everything we just talked about,
there's a lot we don't agree on.
Like what?
I think that the idea that, like I said, you're worried about who's going to pay for it. It's their individual responsibility, and I'm
just calling out the BS that y'all pull out when
it's the individual responsibility.
Okay. What's the BS? What's the BS
and everything?
What's the BS?
The BS about you don't want to pay for it. You want it, but you don't want to pay for it. That's the problem.
That is a personal responsibility if you want to
protect
yourself. If they don't want to protect themselves, don't bring a gun to school. And you can have another Newtown incident.
Wait a minute. You're saying that it's a personal responsibility for a teacher to arm themselves in school,
If a teacher wants to protect themselves at school, fine. Let them get their license and let them get the training and let them get their gun. Let me tell you this. If I was working for someone and that employer said, look, hey, we have a pro-gun environment here. If you have a concealed pistol license or you want to get one and you go get the training, we'll allow you to carry your gun at work. You know what? I would be willing to do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
on my own dime.
You would have a lot
on my own dime.
Yeah, so you would have a lot of.
You have a lot of people. You don't understand that it's crazy people that go through everything you just said. You know what I'm saying? They come to work and blow up the place because they're mad at their manager or they just got laid off. But you said,
here's the thing.
Come on, man.
Let me address that.
Everything's going to be peachy and creamy. Like nobody's going to ever do anything hard because they got a gun. Come on.
Let me address that. If you are so fixated on so many so-called crazy people in this country, how come you aren't calling for any mental health situations to address these massacres?
Who said I'm not?
Why? Oh, do you? Because all you seem to be talking about is guns.
I think that needs to be addressed. That's part of it.
So
it's crazy
what part
people,
of guns is going to be in Biden's presentation on February 1st?
Yeah,
what part of mental health was covered
in
Senator Dianne Feinstein's bill? How much did they address mental health? How much?
None. That's all they want to do is take away the guns, and I think that's the problem.
No.
Gun rights activists.
I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I can pull it up.
Did you read it? Read it. Pull it up now. Read it.
I thought we were just talking about.
Listen, we got 3 minutes left on this show. We got 3 minutes left here. I think that I appreciate both of you for calling in. Rick, I really appreciate it. And I think we were talking about, when you talk about how to fund that kind of operation, there are numerous instruction classes and retired police officers that have these classes that will probably more than help you to help out teachers that want to protect themselves and take that a step further in the classroom. I think there would be programs that we put together. I think the NRA would help with something like that, to be quite honest.
And they put together a plan. They call it the school shield.
The NRA is making more money off this crap than anybody else. All they care about is making money off selling guns.
Are you a member? Are you a member of the National Rifle Association?
No, I'm not.
Have you ever gone to any NRA convention?
The facts are the facts.
Do you read any of their magazines?
Skyrocketing ever since Obama been in office.
Why? Because
they prey on fear of society. They're thinking that their guns are going to be taken away and Mr. Black President is going to really
where are you getting your information from the NRA?
That's like I said. That
you're talking to an NRA member, an NRA convention attendee, and an NRA recruiter. Where are you getting your information?
What's the point of the NRA then?
It's to support our Second Amendment right to keep and bear firearms.
And you think that it's not a profit organization?
It's not a what?
That's
they
not
don't
the
make
issue.
Any profit.
That's not the issue.
No, that is the issue because they making money off that.
Oh my
goodness!
Fear. Do you have a problem with Planned Parenthood?
Wait. Do you make money? Do you have a job?
Oh, he's got a great job, bro.
Oh, really? 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 You gonna talk to me like that?
Really
no.
like that. Really?
He has a great job.
Really?
What's so wrong with it? Wait.
What's wrong with it?
Does the NAACP make money?
At the end of the day, you got to think it.
We got 30 seconds.
Does the NAACP charge $100 a plate for a dinner?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's in this to make money, so I don't understand that.
That's my point.
But I'm gonna.
You just said my point. Everybody's in it just to make money.
Well,
it's just about making money.
We gotta. We're gonna find out. Money. We got 10 seconds left here on the show tonight. I want to thank both of you guys for calling in. I think we're gonna have to have definitely another show discussing this debate. So thanks again for calling in. Everybody listen to the show. Thanks for listening to the Wayne Bradley Show. Have a good afternoon. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right.
Later.